We're also watching the east coast of the U.S. where more than 1 million people now have been told to leave their homes before Hurricane Florence arrives. So we know the what, but how about the why?
Yes, why are the evacuations so different from what we saw during Harvey? Our Jason Miles has the answer.
As Hurricane Florence rolls in from the Atlantic, traffic is rolling out. South Carolina is reversing the flow along many major routes for the third storm season in a row. This is how I-26 looks. The process of making all lanes one way is called contraflow, which was never enacted during Harvey. But why?
You cannot evacuate 6.5 million people within 2 days. You cannot. That would be chaotic.
Houston's mayor stood behind his decision not to call on people to flee America's fourth largest city with our complicated system of highways. Just try to make sense of this map of our evacuation routes. Harvey's incredible amount of rainfall was unprecedented. Some say many may have ended up drowning in their cars while stuck in traffic trying to get out if a mandatory evacuation had been ordered. Dozens did die in 2005 when 3.7 million Houstonians tried to leave town in advance of Hurricane Rita just weeks after Katrina. That storm ended up killing 7 people directly, but 90 to 113 people died from things like dehydration and heat exhaustion while attempting to escape in triple-digit weather. 3 years later, only the immediate coastal areas evacuated during Ike, a lot fewer people, and things worked much better. In the end, each storm is evaluated based on threat, enough warning, and the number of easily managed escape routes. Even then, many wait too late or never leave at all.